The knocking at the front door awakened Blakey with a start. He was slumped in his ratty, comfy chair, so disoriented it took him a moment to even figure out where he was. He was thankful the nightmare was over, but greatly disturbed by how real it felt being tortured by a goat-headed man in some ghastly wasteland. Alice's submarine drawing was pinched between his grease-stained fingers, which only deepened his confusion. As he tried to piece together how he ended up in the basement looking through a catalogue of pain and regret, he heard the delivery truck engine starting up and driving away. Her shoebox of drawings was spilled from his lap onto the floor, a kaleidoscope fanning of child color. Bending to pick up the drawings, pain shot through his body with such electricity. There was no doubt the wound had gotten much worse. His blurry vision drifted from the drawings to the photos that trailed to the shape in the cage, which held one in its claws. Blakey sprang up in a fury. "What the hell do you think you are doing?" The shape had gotten itself out of its constraints and snatched a photo album from a shelf 6 feet away. Most of the photos were ruined. Blakey's anger mushroomed. "I am gonna kill you." Blakey kicked the bars, shifting them. It growled back at him. His temper exploded as he kicked the bars again, shifting them further. He grabbed a heavy rubber mallet from the workbench and the key to unlock the cage. He planned to pulverize the shape or die trying. "You're done, pal. You're so finished. Gonna play knick-knack all over your head." Fumbling the chain and padlock, Blakey had a moment to realize what was happening. When he looked up at the shape awaiting him in the corner, he saw the intent. "Oh, you clever thing, smart, almost got me there." The voice snuck in. "Blasphemy, that beast committed blasphemy, desecrating your holy grounds. You must make it pay in pain." Blakey calmly backed away, replaced the mallet, and began picking up all the pictures. When he came to a photo of him and Alice still intact, he stopped. Blakey was almost never in the pictures. He was always the one behind the camera. The photo was crumpled. He gently straightened the image of Alice when she was an infant, wrapped up in a bath towel, Blakey's arms around her, a grin across both their faces. He slipped the photo into his shirt pocket and secured the rest in the gun locker facing the steps. While there, he picked out a Charter Arms off-duty .38 Special and a set of earmuffs. After Alice was taken, he had developed a disturbing gun fetish, readying for a vengeful battle with a foe he didn't even know. What he did know was that he needed to buy weapons to satisfy the expanding impotence he was left with. Blakey loaded the gun in front of the shape. It didn't flinch or react, only stared, waiting for the violence. Probably plotting. "Don't you worry, gonna come back after lunch and kill you for keeps." He fired a couple rounds into the shape. It collapsed, twitched briefly, and then seemingly died. Blakey tossed the earmuffs, pocketed the gun, and went upstairs, his temper temporarily appeased. Blakey retrieved the package from the porch, giving a cursory check of his property. There was no one in sight who could have heard the gunshots. He took the package back inside and opened it. It was a set of GPS tracking tags, a package of glow sticks, and some bike lock cables. The tags were large and industrial-looking. The box hyped their features: long battery life, waterproof, global tracking, and 2-second unlimited updates. Blakey didn't remember ordering them. He got his phone to check. Apparently he did order them sometime last night and paid for expedited shipping. Blakey then saw his voice message notification. There was a series of messages from the same number. He listened to the first. It was exactly the call he expected, another request for his services. The third in 2 days was a level of escalation Blakey knew he couldn't handle. He wondered if he had somehow provoked the surge. Blakey scribbled down an address, got his keys, and hopped in his truck. The message was the emergency type, but Blakey was too distracted by the GPS tags that showed up on his porch to hurry. He knew instantly what to do with the tags and bike cable, but couldn't own the idea's conception. which made him both suspicious of the purchase and concerned that his memory was in bigger decline than he thought. At a stoplight, he took out the photo of Alice from his pocket and hoped it would give him some clarity. He pressed the picture down lovingly, as though wrinkles could be rubbed away. The image of him and Alice is instant recall happiness, and it made him smile. When Blakey pulled up to the scribbled address, a typical split-level suburban home, his mood sank. Several police cars, an ambulance, and a crowd were in front. Blakey didn't need to double-check the address. The hysterical father, dried blood on his face and shirt, was certainly the one who called. The father violently pushed two harping cops away. "Why won't you listen? It wasn't a man. Who could do this?" Fuming at the audience of paramedics, officers, and nosy neighbors surrounding and trying to calm him, the father lifted his bloody, sticky shirt to illustrate. There was a gaping wound running along his rib cage. Skin hung in a pancake flap, exposing fat and muscle. It was painful to even look at, but the man was pure adrenaline, and he wouldn't let anyone touch him. When a gurney was wheeled from the house, he ran to it. A gore-capped sheet covered what must have been the man's wife. He immediately started bawling, screaming at the police, "You have to believe me! You have to get my son back!" The father completely broke down, falling to his knees as they closed the door of the ambulance. The paramedics wrapped a blanket around him and tried to help him up. He chanted to himself over and over, "Oh God, my boy, my boy!" Blakey knew it would only get worse as the police tried to lay blame. They'll end up charging him, gaping chest wound or not. Lack of evidence doesn't quell the need for guilt. Blakey watched the scene from his car, parked half a block away. He wanted to listen in on the conversations amongst the police. He wanted to get out of the car and shout in the father's defense. "Explain it, FBI! Explain all you rational heads! Explain the science! Tell us all what mortal thing did that!" Blakey was grave. He hadn't let one slip in a while. He had sudden trouble swallowing, his mouth twisted in frustration, telling himself he should have answered the phone, that it was his fault, and that he shouldn't have drunk himself into an otherworldly nightmare. The voice asked, "Are you sure it was just a nightmare?" Blakey drove away rigid with frustration. It was a slow abandonment. He couldn't tear his gaze from the rearview mirror. He wondered if this was the same scene after Alice was taken. No. You had been silent, much to the suspicion of the authorities, the voice reminded him. When Blakey was back in his basement, he set to work figuring out the tracking tags. He held the tag in one hand while reading the directions in the other, wondering what was the best way to collar a monster. The knock at the front door, upstairs, interrupted his solution. Blakey immediately worried. No one came to his house. He lived too far away for solicitors, and his unruly front lawn screamed, "Go away." Even in winter, he could barely see his neighbors. They were so far away, and now in one morning, a delivery and a visitor. Blakey held the doorknob for a moment before opening it, expecting that his infected mind was playing tricks on him, and another character from Wonderland would be waiting.